Well, hello everyone. This is Michael Sullivan from fullpreterism.com. Hey guys, I wanted to share with you the results of our fundraising for the reprint 300 copies of Armageddon Deception, the Eschatology of Islam and Zionism, a Biblical Response. Remember, I was quickly running out of copies and the price of printing went up. I didn't have hardly anything in the account, and you guys just came in, and I just wanted to go over some of those figures with you. We had a couple of big donors, fairly big donors. Then we had people anywhere from $20 to $50 to $100 to $500. And it was just a complete blessing. So we were able, check this out. Not only were we able to get, there was a defect. All right. When they first sent me 300 copies, 200 copies had a defect on the very bottom of the front cover. They cut it wrong. All right. And so they ended up, and I had 100 copies that were cut right. And I don't know what happened there, but they ended up sending me another 200 good copies. So that means I've got 200 copies that have a slight defect that I can mail out for promos, book reviews or what have you. Or, there's always that case where, man, I really want to get this guy a copy of the book, but, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, now I've got a couple hundred copies to kind of give away, hoping some people will read it and things will come of it. So that's great. So with your giving, currently we have an extra $1,300 left over from your giving. And in the account from selling roughly around 130 books within the last few months of Armageddon Deception, we have about 4,800 in the account. All right. And that money is going to go towards reprinting House Divided if we get there. I was able to actually print off another 50 copies with your gift of that as well. So reprinting those books, House Divided and Armageddon Deception, when we get to that point, that money can be used for that, or it can be used for further books. As you know, Armageddon Deception is a massive, huge book, and there are books within this book, right? Like just a book on the Olivet Discourse or what have you, the Resurrection. So I'm working on some other books, printing them separately, so this money could be used towards that. Also, there was a chapter I wanted to add in this book, but I didn't have time because I had so many back orders and we had to print it, and I had no time off from work to actually do it. I started it, but I'm going to do a little booklet, all right, entitled Armageddon PSYOP, the Eschatology of the New World Order, a Biblical Response. And it's going to be a companion work to this. I wish it could have been a chapter in here, but the book's big enough as it is. And I'm going to go over climate change, depopulation, the history, kind of what I did at the Berean conference a while back, where I kind of showed you the New World Order and its goals. And I didn't really have time to get into the scriptural response in that presentation. Well, I'm going to be able to do that in a little booklet that'll be a companion for this. So that's another project I have going. But the big project I have right before me, and we just did a devotion today and a Bible reading on Numbers 13 and chapters 13 and 14, where, you have the 12 spies going into the land. They come back. They're like, oh man, yeah, the land is great, just like God said, but we're grasshoppers in their eyes. There's giants in there, and they have fortified cities. There's no way we can take it. Let's just go back to Egypt. Let's just go back in slavery. Moses, boo. God, no, we're going back. I'm not going back. I have no intentions of going back. I'm going to set my face forward, and I'm going to keep, as long as God keeps opening doors, I'm going to keep walking through them, and I'm going to trust God to do great things. All right. So we've got the movie script done. Well, first of all, let me go over this. All right. So it's going to be Armageddon PSYOP. That's the title of the movie. We got the website up. All of this is in the beginning stages. Okay. So bear with us. The website's still kind of being developed. I have a Give, Send, Go account where you can donate. And the goal is 325,000. Why do I say that? Because the minimum amount for a SAG movie, which is a Screen Actors Guild movie, is 300,000. That's the minimum you can have in an account. If you're going to pitch a movie, you have to have that as a minimum. So I'm shooting for 325,000. Okay. And you're like, Mike, how in the world are you going to come up with that? Well, like I said, God keeps opening doors for this movie. And I just keep trusting him, and he keeps doing things. There have been times in my life where I think God is opening a door and everything is falling into place. And at the last minute, nothing happens, or it's a closed door. I've seen that happen, but I'm not God. I don't know what the future is. And I don't know what his will is 100% all of the time. All I know is that I come to him in faith and trust. Lord, use me, every day. What do you want to do? And he keeps opening these doors. So I'm walking through them. And, the first fundraiser I have someone approach me and say, hey, look, whatever you raise in the first month, I'll match up to $2,000. So if we can get $2,000 in the Give, Send, Go account, this person will match it with another 2,000. So that's $4,000. That's a start. That's a start. We may get to a point where, 4-6 months into this, we have someone approach us, say, hey, look, if you are able to raise 150,000, I will match it 150,000. There are gracious folks out there that are preterists that God has blessed financially, and they wake up just like we do. They put their pants on just like we do. Lord, use me. Show me how to use my funds. Show me what I can do for you and advance your kingdom. So don't be discouraged with the amount. I'm not discouraged. I'm not discouraged at all. I know God can do great things. So that's the project I'm focusing on now. I'm still doing writing, but this is kind of the big one in front of us. So go to my website. There's a link on the website there that will take you to the Give, Send, Go account. And let me go over here. So this is kind of the core group I have right now. And we already did a podcast together, and you can go to my YouTube channel, Michael Sullivan, or at Michael Sullivan 6868, if you want to see that podcast with these gentlemen. But let me start from my left, going to my right, which is probably opposite for you. But preterist, these first two men, Brett and Jared, are full preterists. They're not partial preterists. They are full preterists. Okay. And they're actors. Brett he's an actor, he's a producer, and he's a screenwriter. He's won awards for his movie scripts and the different genres they're presented. And he's presenting some of his scripts right now to some very big players. He's read our script and it was finished. Now he has it and he's going through it. He's adding more action scenes. He's pulling some things together that have some loose ends, and he's making it really, really nice and tight. Okay. And on the website, we will produce large sections of the movie script kind of as a teasers. And then for those that want the full movie script, if you write us and you say, hey, I really want to look at the whole script before I invest in this, we will provide that for you as well. So we've got Bretto, all right. And there's no commitments yet, because if I don't have any money, I can't pay these folks, right? And we're still waiting to see how the staff and these roles and scenes are going to be rolled out. But tentatively, right now, Brett would be playing the main character, Chris Hunt, who's an MMA fighter who loses his parents in the mission field to Muslims, who is in seminary while he's an MMA fighter, and his faith is challenged. not only on a personal level because he's lost his parents to Muslim terrorists, but now he's going through the Gospel of Matthew and noticing that Jesus promised to come in the lifetime and generation of the first century. And he's beginning to say, hey, look, Christ failed the early church. He failed my parents. He's failed me. I don't want anything to do with this Christianity stuff. And God will raise up a co-student that is a preterist, and then there's a preterist debate with a Muslim, and we kind of pull all of this together into the movie. It's a great movie with forgiveness. It exposes the globalists, the New World Order, who are starting all of these wars. And we will be hit with a Muslim terrorist cell here within probably a year, right before the election or right after. And actually, this movie actually deals with that in the plot itself. And I wrote this like 2 years ago because it was really easy to see where everything is building. I don't know if some of you have seen the movie Dune Part 2, but it ends with getting ready for the Holy War. And that's what, the globalists have been planning all along. They're stringing these three religions along, noticing that they're trying to self-fulfill prophecies for this end time holy war, and they know they're manipulating the evangelical Zionists. They know they're manipulating the Talmudic Zionists and the Muslims, and they're using them. And I can see it. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I'm doing this movie, to try and help stop that the best I can. So Brett is in charge. If something happens to me temporarily or permanently, the movie is in Brett's hands. I'm giving all rights to him, trusting that if there is any profit, that he would take care of my family. But he's a very talented young man, and I prayed specifically for someone, and he came in, and I just can't deny that that's an answer to prayer. So God's gifted him. He may be producing it. If that's something he's interested in, he can play the main character. If that's something he's interested in, which I think he is, but we have to pay these people, right? So we have to raise the money. Then we have another actor, full preterist actor, Jared Kuhn. He's been a full preterist for about a year. He's read every book that Don Preston has written, so that's pretty impressive. And he's just a young, humble, godly man. And I just am really excited to see him on the team as well. And he would play Dr. Richter. He's the preterist that will be debating the Muslim apologist. Is Jesus a prophet? Is the New Testament Jesus a faithful prophet? Of course, the Muslim says no. That's why we need the Quran. The New Testament, Jesus prophesied he was going to come in the first century. He failed. Allah gave Muhammad, a more perfect revelation. And we look forward to Jesus' second coming in the future, blah, blah, blah. So these guys battle it out in a debate on the Olivet Discourse. All right. And of course, the preterist comes on top in that. So right now, Jared would probably be playing that role. Look, I've reached out to Kirk Cameron. I'm trying to reach out to Kevin Sorbos. I would love to see Kirk, especially if he's a partial preterist or full preterist. I don't know what he is, but it would be great to see him undo the damage that he did in the movie series Left Behind, right? But he may be super busy. Obviously, he's super busy because he hasn't returned any of my emails. But it'd be great to have him on the team, even as an advisor. Any help he could provide would be awesome. But originally, I wanted him to play the debate scene. But if he doesn't want to, he can't, whatever. Then Kevin Sorbos, but, he, I think, is probably still in the Left Behind mindset. So I'm not sure this movie would be interesting to him. But we don't know. There may be some, if we can raise some money, God might provide other directors that are interested in this, that are connected to big name actors. So a lot of this is kind of still in flux. Then we have the third gentleman here, my friend Pat Miletich. He's a Hall of Fame UFC champion in real life, and in real life he coaches MMA and trains fighters in MMA. And he has written and done the fight choreography for other movies like Bobby Z and some other movies. So he would be doing the fight choreography. He's already written the fight scenes for the movie script, did a great job on that. And he will also just play himself in the movie, kind of a small role. He won't be doing a lot of acting, but he's going to be coaching Chris Hunt in the movie as well. And in the movie, he knows a lot about the New World Order. And in real life, Pat does know a lot about the New World Order. So it kind of works out really, really well. So these are kind of the main guys, the main players we have right now. I've told you that the script has been passed off to Brett. He's working on it. I think tomorrow he said he's going to give pretty much the whole day to that. And then hopefully within a couple of weeks after that, we can have the very, very finished with his updates of the script, and we'll post excerpts of it on the website so you can look at it and see what you're funding. And then if you want to know, hey, I'd like to read the whole script, we can send that to you as well. All right. So please go to that site, click the Send, Give, Go link, and support this effort. We all want a Preterist movie out there, right? We have plenty of Preterist books at this point, but as a movement, do we have a movie? No. I've tried in the past. I know John Noe has tried, but this script is solid. I mean, it is solid, and we have a really good team behind us. So, let's say we have a core group of 400 full Preterists that are committed to this project. And over a year's time, they gave anywhere between $50 to $100 a month. We're there. So it's not completely unattainable. And even if we hit half that mark, and say we did 150,000 and we reached out to someone else that maybe has some money and says, okay, you've done the work, you've done the best you can, I'm going to match it. And we're there. All right. So you have my commitment. And as a Christian and as someone who has integrity with the money you have donated to this ministry, everything I get is like sacred money to me. It goes into the PayPal account, or it goes in the PayPal account. And I use it just for the advancement of Christ's kingdom and his glory. And, which is preterism is how I see it. And so whatever you donate, it goes to that. Okay. So that's where we are with our fundraising for the books and the reprinting and how we met those goals. Now we're taking on some giants. Okay. Now we're going into the land, and we're going to see, we're willing to fight the giants. We're willing to take down Jericho. God, provide. We're going to do our part. Lord, you do your part. We're here. So that's kind of where I am in this journey. And I want you to take this journey with me. And if it's something you want to endorse, you want to tell others about, you want to financially support it, then I would really appreciate it. All right, guys. Lord bless. Appreciate your time.